Hey everybody, Jim here, and I want to give a little introduction to our TEMS 303 class, our first week here. Let me start off here and talk about what I want to get covered today. Introduce myself, introduce the class a little bit, talk about some of the expectations, briefly talk about the syllabus. I know you guys can all read, so I'm not going to insult you by reading the syllabus to you. And then we'll talk a little bit about your first assignment for this week. So that's what I'd like to cover today. I'm going to start off over here. I'm going to put the syllabus up, but my name is Jim Bone. Yes, there's two M's there. You can thank my mom for that. I have been teaching middle school and high school and things like that for 28 years. I've been teaching adjunct classes at SVSU for, I think, 6 years now. Really enjoying that in the teacher education department. And once in a while, they give me a call and say, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And I jump on whatever I can. I love to try to help the next generation of teachers, give you some real world expectations and some hints and help for you as you get ready to start your careers. Exciting time. So that's a little bit about me. Married 25 years, 3 kids, 5 grandkids, the whole thing. The class, TEMS 303. We are going to be talking about technology. And technology has been near and dear to my heart for my whole career. And I still try to be one of the district leaders. We've got some other people who are really good at what they do as well. So there are times that I go to them for advice. Sometimes they come to me for advice. But we have an excellent level of technology in the district that I'm in. I'm in Hemlock, just outside of Saginaw. And I would put ours against anybody all the way down to the Detroit schools or over in Grand Rapids area. We do, I think, a very, very good job in the technology departments. And so hopefully I can give you some advice. Maybe I'm not going to teach you anything new in technology, but hopefully I can teach you perhaps how you're going to use it in your careers as you go along. So in the syllabus here, we have the usual gobbledygook that you have and you can't take out. Let's get down here. How do you get started? So on Sundays, as of today, I'll post a video. I try to get it up by noon so that you plan your whole week accordingly. Now, sometimes these assignments will take you 45 minutes. Sometimes they will take you the 3 hours, and it's supposed to be a 3-hour class. So I do not make it a point to sit down and plan out how can I keep these people busy for 3 hours. And, that's not my goal. My goal is let's talk about these things in the class. Let me break it up. And, this week it might be a little less. That week it might be a little bit more. But I'm not sitting down trying to figure out how I can make your life miserable for 3 hours a week or more. So with that being said, once you see your video on Sunday or whenever you want to view it, it'll be due 8 days from then. So the following Monday, not the next day, we're going to be using this thing called 21 Things for Teachers. This is a website. I can bring it up over here. This is a website that many districts in Michigan use for professional development for their teachers. And so I thought it would be pretty handy for us to go through some of these. They are very up to date. And as a matter of fact, like I said, I've been teaching this 303 class on and off for several years. So when they asked me to do it this year, I pulled it up and I saw that they had changed a lot of their modules, which they do often. They update this thing all the time. So one of the things I really like about it is that it is up to date, almost to a fault, because during this past week, while I was adjusting your syllabus and I was adjusting the Canvas course and all that kind of stuff, number 4 module over here, it's called blended learning. Well, in years past when I've used it, it was called blended learning. And all last week, it was called indirect learning. And it was slightly different. And now this morning, I bring this up to make my video, and look, it's called blended learning again. So I think all I'm asking is that everybody is a little bit flexible between the syllabus and Canvas and the actual website. we're going to get the information out of it that we want. It might not be called the same thing. And as a matter of fact, when you open up, we don't have blended learning today, but when you open up a module, it's going to have some things for you to do. You just work your way down through these little steps. And then a lot of times it'll have an assignment over here on the side. Now this one doesn't have an assignment again, which is fine. What I'm going to have you do for this one is you go through the introduction, and then you go and you make the connections, and then you apply it to something. That's going to be your lesson. That's how you'll do thing 4. Okay. Sometimes over on the side, it has, literally written out, here's your assignment. Other times you just go through the module itself and that becomes your assignment. And again, these things are in flux as we go. Now they've added the assignment to the 4th stage. So as you went through the module and you got down to the 4th stage, then it all of a sudden adds the assignment in for you. So, like I said, this is really good information. This is cutting edge as far as education goes. This is the newest stuff that we can find, to the point where next week it might look different again when you log on to this. So I'm just asking that you stay flexible with what things look like or your expectations on that. But it is a really good resource for us to be using. So this week, module 1 is going to be due on the 18th. And you see these ISTEs, okay? So yes, you're going to get another set of standards. So you probably have perhaps your standards for your specific course that you're teaching, whether it's physical education, social studies, English, whatever it might be. Your district might also ask you to incorporate Common Core standards with that. It might ask you to incorporate C3 standards if you're social studies or something like that. And then you have ISTE standards. This is your technology standards, okay? So I'm going to ask for us to get a little bit familiar with these standards. This isn't something that I'm going to have you memorize and have some big test on at the end of the term, but I want you to be familiar with it. The big thing is, if you go into a job interview at some point in the future and they want you to teach 4 hours of English, they want you to teach 1 hour of perhaps a careers class, and in that careers class they want you to teach some technologies, skills, maybe keyboarding, maybe file development, things like that. If you in that interview can say, oh, well, yeah, I'm familiar with ISTE standards and I understand that, kids need to be able to do this, this, and this, that's going to give you a lot of points in that interview. So this is just one thing to put into your tool belt to be better prepared for the future when, I think unless you are in a huge district where you teach one class all day long, you're probably going to be asked to teach something off of your usual menu 1 hour, because you can do that as a district. You can teach 1 hour off of your major minor, and so this may be where you get sort of your electives that get thrown in a smaller school like the one I'm in. And if you can tell them that these things, that's going to be great. So I want to help you with that. Okay. So what are my expectations here? My expectations are you try your best. You try to figure it out. One of the things that I teach, I try to instill even in my own middle schoolers, is whether you get the answer right or wrong, what I'm really interested in is what was the process that you took to get there? How much were you able to figure out? And then when you get stuck, let me know. When you get stuck, I'll say, okay, where are you at? And now maybe we need to back up and go a different direction or something like that. But I just want you to try your best. Again, I've had, and I'm not sure why, but I think over the last 3 years at least, in this class, I've had a huge number of physical education majors. And I don't know if that's just the trend at SVSU altogether, or there was just a clump of them, or what. And I don't know you guys yet. I'll hopefully know you guys after this week. But even by the end of the class, my physical education majors were saying, "Oh, yeah, I really see how I could be using this. This makes a lot of sense for me when I really didn't think it did." So even if you are not a tech person, if you are a complete Luddite, that's okay. I have taught for the last 23 years right next door to a Luddite, and a heck of a guy, great teacher. And in the last couple of years, especially with COVID, he has really been like, I don't know why I fought this so much. This is really what I should be doing. This is great stuff. But don't let me put into your head that I feel that technology is awesome for everything, no matter what. One of my sayings is we do not use technology for technology's sake. I don't just throw things in because I can. I don't do things with fancy little tools just to look cool. It needs to be something that actually is good for the class. So those are sort of my expectations for that. Let's get back to the syllabus here. So this week one, you see that we are covering ISTE's standards 1 and 2. Due on the 18th. This screencast that you hopefully are watching right now was posted on Canvas. Real soon, we're going to be migrating off of Canvas and into a Google Classroom setting because that's more real world. There are no K-12 districts that use Canvas, but almost everybody uses Google or perhaps like land school, things like that. So I want to get something that's more real world, and Google happens to be something we can actually access without buying, as a school district trying to buy something. Um, so I want us to do that.
Here's what I found.
We are going to be having you go through module 1, and then I also want you to post some sort of a bio for me on Canvas for right now because we have not switched over to Google. What subjects are you going to be certified to teach? What's your experience with an online class been so far? I know that with COVID and all that, you've done a lot of online. So what's your experience been? How many have you had? Is it good, bad? What are some things you like or don't like about them? And then give yourself an overall rating with your comfort with technology. If you're a 1, you're carrying the flip phone like the guy who teaches next to me. If you are a 10, you are some sort of master guru. You feel like calling Elon Musk every afternoon and telling him what he's doing wrong. So then after you do that short little bio, and again, a paragraph, whatever page, whatever you come up with, I need you to do thing 1 of the 21 things. So if we go back to here and I go back to thing 1, that's the basics. Okay. This one, look down here, actually does have the assignment listed. So you read through this a little bit and then click on the assignment. It's going to tell you to copy the basics document, which again, let me see if it's here today because, yep, it's still not here today. This is something that hasn't been here. So what you need to do with this one is you don't do the assignment. You continue to go down through these 3 parts. So the first thing you're doing is just doing some drop and drag stuff, putting things where they go, all that. Check your work. It'll let you go to the next part. You go to part 2, technology skills, complete that, and then go to part 3, best practices and standards, and you complete that. A pretty simple one, just a good way to get introduced to the 21 things for teachers. So again, do not click on the assignment over here because it's not working. And then you can watch the little video and then go down and do these 3 parts. As you complete each one at the bottom, there'll be a link down here for you to go to the next part. All right, so that takes care of our 21 things for the week, our first assignment. Next week, we will start looking more at Google and getting into our new Google Classroom and things like that. So for this week, we are staying in Canvas, doing things sort of SVSU normal style. And then next week, we'll start flipping over to Google, getting more information for that. One of the things I wouldn't mind knowing about, if you want to put this in your bio for me, what kind of background do you have with Google Education? So did you use Google in your K-12 experience? Did you use Google Meets? how familiar are you with the features of Drive and things like that, Google Classroom, all those kinds of things. So if you have any experience